tourist. I didn't expect that I should come here and talk about this in that time. So this is my first time I speak in English in this kind of. I have done it in Sweden, but not in English. So hopefully you have some understanding for my English. To begin with, I don't know how long this will take. It depends if you have good questions along. I hope you have a lot of questions. How many are carpenter? Work like a carpenter. Rather, and I understand it was a little bit different kind of administration too. I think architecture. Yeah. Owner. Yeah. This is an old building that I've been working with. It's up in the north part of Sweden. It's not so far from the Arctic Circle. This was one time it was a school and upper level, but it have a long history. And this is a typical buildings up in my district, made with timbers. We have a lot of them. And these are from the late 1900s. This is a little bit what is going to happen, what I'm going to talk about. Wood, different types of conservation buildings, but how you work with heavy buildings when you work with them. And then we have questions, but I think it's better when you have questions now than at the whole time, not in the end. If you see something or here you want to ask about. This is my life. I start as a lumberjack, 1976. I'm an old man. I'm 68 years this year, so I've been working a long time. Then I start driving timber with a lorry. I work at the factory. I work with tourism and I like a hunting and fishing guide. I have been like a tree climber for 20 years. I lived in Germany for 1.5 years. And then I started my own business 2005. So this was working together, I think. That's my life. But hopefully it's not ending yet. And I'll see if this is working. Maybe not. Is it? Oh, it's very, very, very bad. I live up here. So, and here we have the Arctic Circle, almost. And we are now down here. So my area that I work in, it's almost 100, it's more than, it's 65,000 hectare, square kilometers, and in my area it's 97,000 square kilometers. So my area that I work is bigger than your country. So this is almost my area that I work in. But and then I am always chairman of this Byggnadsvård Norr. It's an association with 40 companies, and we work in this area. It's called Norrbotten, Västerbotten, so it's 150,000 square kilometers. And there we are 40 companies who is a member of our association and I'm the chairman in that association. And we have a painter, carpenter, bricklayer, stoneworker, metal worker, every skills. And our association is a member of a national, it's the whole Sweden, and there we have 9 regional networks, and there we are 250 member companies. So we have a lot of working on, it's going on a lot of things, and we try to meet and share skills and like that in the whole Sweden. It's really good. And every second year we meet at Mariestad here. And this year it will be there in September. And when we meet there, it's about 500 people getting together in 3 days. It's a really good place to be there. And I think a lot of people come from these countries, even Finland, Norway, Denmark, Estonia, we have members. So that's something you can look at. It's in September this year, in Mariestad. I think we can share the information about that later on. And it's good when we have these connection between each other, because it's good progress for people in our crafts. Questions? You understand what I say? Yeah.
Are you a member of some European network of such a?
Not yet.
Is there something like that?
I think maybe, but I think now they have called us from Estonia. They want to work with us in different projects. I don't know really that. It's very new. So we'll see what
Estonia or another one?
What it is.
Which organization?
I don't know. I don't remember, because we had a meeting last week and I'm not really updated in that. But it's something going on. I think it's between Estonia and Latvia. So hopefully you can be a member too, your country. See what's happening there. And we also have a network with timber framing. It's called Stolberg Norden. Here you have the address. And we have a lot of courses in Sweden. And there we work together with Norway too. So this year I want the man behind the pole there is Jack Sobon, the very famous American timber framer. He had a course that I was enjoying. Very good. I don't know if you have something like that here. Latvia, timber framing. You know what that is?
Not yet.
Really?
Yeah, lecture we have,
You have
especially in the seaside.
an organization for that, yeah?
But you mean like in Germany there is this Zimmermann Verband,
Yeah.
Association of Carpenters.
Mm.
Neturime mes tokios.
Timber framing is when you build this kind of
Nėra.
poles and a lot of
There are some associations who try to unite companies either making log houses or prefabricated houses, but single carpenters. And so this community is not united organized in a way like Sweden
No.
or Germany or.
No, we hold, this is called Stolberg, is a timber frame, Norden, and it's because we try to work together with Norway, Finland, Denmark. So the members are from these countries, but we like to find more members. So let's see, look at that address. Wood. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit about wood. Because I live in the north part of Sweden and we have a really good quality of the Scotch pine there. You can see these logs here. They are about 150 and 200 years old timbers, so it's really good quality. I think here the timber is growing a lot faster, so you don't get really as good quality. But when you work with the timber, you want to have a good quality to put in the old buildings, and when we do some work, they demand that we have to have these old logs, quality of logs, to put in the old houses that are preserved. And this is how a forest can look up in my region. Really straight timber. I think it's because the soil here is very sandy, so it's grow very slow. So this forest, when you see here, it's about 150 years old. But it's not so big logs, but it's very good quality, because it have grow very slow. I think here, what I've seen, they grow a little bit faster, I think. I saw when I come with the airplane here, it was a lot of forest north of the town. Big forest, I think. You know that? Is it?
Around Vilnius?
I don't know, it's a lot of big forest in the north part.
So we have a lot of big forests around here.
So it's a cultural landscape, but then it was a very big area with the forest, I think, when I came with this.
Probably. Yeah, but not all the places are meant for wood harvesting, so.
Yes, it is. But I mean, how you can find a good quality of timber? Can you find it here? Or?
Yes,
Because
there are some areas, small areas.
there is.
There is, yes.
Yeah, because you can't find it on the shops for wood. It's impossible. They have bad quality usually. Here you can see the sapwood is around here. That's the bad wood, I can say. But the hardwood, that's the best wood, because it's dead wood. So it don't happen so much when you saw the timber, like when you want 6-inch timber, you want to have this. That's the good quality. Usually outside here it's where the nutrition go up in the tree, and it's not so good for put in houses. So it's important to have a good quality of the timber. This is also a forest in summertime. It was about 150-200 years old trees there. This was cut down. But when we want to have a good timber for when we repair old houses, we usually connect the forest owner, and he said, yes, you can come and mark out the trees you want. So we go out in the forest, spray the length of the timber we want, and then when the harvester comes, he cut the trees, make the length we want. We usually want between 6 up to 10 meter long timber, because you can't find that anywhere else.
And so if I understood correctly, you're marking down trees for specific projects already.
Yes.
And how long does it take before harvesting the wood and the usability of it?
We can use it in, I think it's in the next picture.
Okay.
But it's a nice forest. It's not so sad that it's cut down, but sometimes it's because we have this a little bit problem in Sweden now. If you don't want to cut the trees, they make a reservation of it, so you are not allowed to cut down the trees. So it's a problem that too. Here you can see, this is about 200 years old pine trees from near the Arctic Circle. It's from Jokkmokk, it's called a place. And here we fell the trees between November and March because it's less water in the tree in that time. It's the best time, in the winter time, because the tree are sleeping in that time. And then we tried to sow them in March, in this time. Now it's the best time to sow them up in our region. And then we have 3 months of good drying weather. So if you sow them now and store them, you can use them in June. Then they are about 20-25% water inside. Because we have a very dry air up in the north part of Sweden in this time. It's very good. And soon we have a midnight sun up there. So we have a daylight all the 24 hours. So that's very important to don't fell the tree, especially not in the summer or in the spring, because in the springtime the trees sucking water up to make a new living. So it's very bad. But then you got a lot of I don't know the English word of blown up, but it's a lot of bad things who happen with trees when you have a lot of water in them. Mold, it's some mold, but you get very bad on the trees.
And can
And
I ask,
even fungus.
for example, in Austria, it is popular to cut tree only when the moon is full or something
No,
like that.
no,
It's a
no.
myth,
We don't
or
do that. I mean, I have heard that, but we don't.
They are even selling for bigger price
Yeah.
because it should be better. It is
Yes.
or not, or it is just.
No, we don't care about that
Okay.
because I think it's more in your mind. I have heard that. But I think it's the best time to cut the trees between November and March. That's the best time because it's less water in them, and the trees are sleeping in that time. Up in I think here it's a little bit earlier because you have a warmer climate here. Questions?
Did you have problems with insects?
You have?
Do you have?
No. We have no problem with that. No. It's if you are in the south of Sweden, they have more problems with insects. Because we have really good seasons. In October, the winter starts. We can have a minus 20 degrees in October. So we have winter from October to April almost. So it's very long winter up in my area.
And do you have enough water in the ground for the forest in the North Sweden?
Yes, we have no problem with water. In the south of Sweden they have problem, but not in the north. We have the Alpine area. We have a lot of water and big rivers. So that was.
Climate change doesn't hurt.
No, not yet. I think that we have seen so far is that in the autumn we have it's a bit later now, because when I was a small kid in the 60s, it could snow in September. Now it's maybe in the late October the snow is coming. So something have happened, yes. Of course. But and the winter are a little bit not so cold as it was in that time, because then we could have minus 30 degrees January and in February it could be minus 30. So it was really long winter in that time. This is typical old buildings up in my area. This is from the 1900. Typical of big old buildings. I have been working on that one because it's hard to see, but here you have where the timber is in the corner they meet, but sometimes they cut these because it had been paneled on this one, so they cut these when they put the panel on. And the problem was that if you do that, it's have no connection. So the wall was going out. So we have to restore that and put poles here and boring iron into the wall is here and one wall is there. So we could. I don't have a picture on that, but it was a big project, but it went out very well. This is also a very old building. This is also a typical storage building for food. You have usually you have also meat and seed in these storage building.
How you call it?
Pardon?
In Swedish.
What?
How you name it?
It's I think it's loge. It's a loge. It's a very short name. Because you always say a loge or this kind of, but it's a feroz loge.
Is it like summer farm?
But
Is it summer farm? Are we living people during summertime?
yeah, here they live all the year long.
All the year.
Yes, this is an old. It's. You can come and visit this place because it's a lot of. I think it's almost 30 buildings on this place, with like an. It's saved, so you can come here and visit it. It's a very nice place. Oh, now I'm outside with the picture, I think. And this is very typical building also up in my region. It was in the beginning of the 1900s. We have where the harvest, where they threshed the grain. It was a long building. It could be 40 meters long. And the horse who was pulling this one, he was going to the building, 40 meters long, and then he went and turned on and went back to harvest and they threshed the grain. And they laid it out on the floor and he was dragging this one. But then in the late 1900s, you start building this kind, the round, or they are 8 corners. So he could, the horse could go around and round and round. And they also, on the upper level, they could store hay. And also down in when they have this made this clear, they have trashed the grain, and then they can store hay inside there. So usually the floor here was it had to be very, very tight, so the grain not going down. So they have one of these was they put it into to get inside with a hammer, they put it in so it was really tight, the floor. And then when they have done it, they drag it out so when it gets more moisture, it could swell. It's a really interesting building. And you can find these buildings in the north part of Sweden almost. In south you can't find them, so it's very special. We worked at this one this year. And here you have a bigger one I have repaired. And usually this wall start to be a little bit wobbly, or what I should say. So it's good to put these pole beams and together with the threads here to fix it so it can't happen anything more. Because here you have the floor for the upper level. But they are really big buildings. And when you try to lift these, you have to have good equipment. They are heavy, very heavy. It's very difficult to change the logs here because you have these kind of connection. It's very obvious because you have to separate these timber very much to get out the other log. It's very difficult. Here we have this is very common up also pole shed. And this construction was, you can find them with the 2 timbers or with 1 timber layer, and these poles. The meaning was that when you have a mouse, because this was, you stored meat and seed in these, it was very important buildings. And the meaning of it was when the mouse was climbing up here, he couldn't climb up because this was wider. The pole is there. He couldn't climb under and up. It was the meaning between this construction. But in the winter time, you had to keep the snow away so he couldn't come up. So it was very important to, when you have, this is the floor. To this one, it had to be very tight in the construction. So you can find 2 different kind of construction. Sometimes it's coming out, the floor timber is out, but sometimes it's on the inside only and lying on this one. So it's when you make new of this, it's very important to get it really tight. And it's a difficult operation, I think. Questions? You're very quiet.
No. But lower.
You understand what I'm saying? Or
Yes, of course.
or not?
That lower ring of logs, which is laying on the ground, does it lay on the ground or on stones?
No, this isn't a bad picture. I mean, it need a lot of work, this one, because under here you have a stone, but it have a sinking down in the ground. I have an old. This is another.
And what is the floor, or is it kind of how the structure of
This.
the floor? No, upper. Yeah, here. The floor.
The floor inside, but here
The
you
bottom,
have
the
a.
bottom. If any mouse is coming.
No, you see here you have another construction. They are conic, the poles, but if he climb up, he can't climb up under this and go around. It was the meaning of it, the construction. But in this one, we have only one layer of timber. On the second picture, it was 2 layers. So we have these 2 different kind of construction. And if you remember, see here the pole is going outside in every corner. That's when you made these, you have to be very. It had to be very exact. Usually you lift this up and put this out, and then you made a new one outside, and then inside. So when you put this back again, first you have to take all this up there, put down the poles, then you have to drag it back and put down these 2, and then back again. So it's very complicated to make a new one under.
What kind of tools do you use for lift the whole building? Crane?
No. We use. I'll show you a picture later. But it's you have to have logs under here, and make a lot of small or big pieces here to keep it up. I don't have a really good picture, but I have, but not in this space. But in this construction, you see the timber here is laying on this one, but on the other one, the timber was coming out. So the floor here, they is on the side on this one, on the inside. So you have to, if you have a log, you cut off wood and put it inside that, so it's lying. So it had to be very tight here, so no mouse can climb in. And usually on that, you never have a stair here. It should not be together with this, so this has been made later on, because otherwise it's very easy to climb in. But the owner was very old, so he had a stair, maybe. This is a rather big one. Here is one that I have. It's a little bit newer one, that I made a new construction. But I think I like this kind of buildings because they are really nice made, because you can find 2 different kind of buildings, how they construct it, and you're always thinking, why did they make different kind of construction? What was the meaning? But you don't know. Here it's another one. It's a Sami. We have the Lappish, the Sami people up in the north, and they do another kind of buildings. And this is very special because you see they have the roots of the tree. So it's rather, and this one they don't have it standing there, only when you are going up, and that was made of a log. But that's very typical. And they have the from the birch here as on the beams there, sealing the roof. Very common.
So are the uprooted trees used as foundation for this one?
Yeah.
Or it's just naturally cut trees?
No, they haven't grown here, you can see. They are put But it's very special.
But does it help to preserve the wood if you leave the roots out, or just for stabilizing the construction?
You mean here?
Yeah.
But I think when you have all these old trees, you have a lot of tar in these roots, so it's very conservation. And this is I think it's it's the same level as the Arctic Circle. It's very dry area, but it could be very much snow here. It could be 1.5 meters. So, but this is an old one. Here it's also Sami people. It's near the Arctic Circle too. It's a Sami village. Because for 100 years ago they had to move a whole place where they have all these buildings, and then they put them together. Before they were more different areas. You can come and visit and have a look here, this place. It's the same here. And this kind of building was, they lived in these, the Lappish people.
So it's like a museum?
That's like a museum, yes, you can come and visit that.
Okay.
Up in a place called Arvidsjaur. It's up in the north part of Sweden. So these are very special. So I've been working here making new roofs here on some of these buildings.
Another roofs made also out of wood, yeah.
But
the roof tiles are made of wood?
yeah, and they have from the birch,
Bark?
Bark, yes, covering the roofs here. And then they have these logs, not so big one, who's we call it roof wood, I think. That you put that's holding the birch bark in place. Because it's not put there with some nails or something, it's only the wood who is keeping it in place. Yeah. So, this is a place where I'm just now working. It's in the Alpine area in my region. So to this place I have to walk 10 kilometers, or taking a helicopter, or go by snowmobile. So it's not so easy to get there. In the last picture I can show you the building I am working with. So this is from 2 weeks ago. So we have a lot of snow there. But
you don't stay overnight there?
pardon?
You don't stay overnight there?
Yes, I'll stay in, yeah, there. I'll stay for 4 days working. But it's a nice place.
And
You can see here how thin the spruce are, because up in that area there's a lot of snow, so they don't have so much.
how old is it inside the building?
In that one,
Yeah, inside.
you can we have a chimney there, so you can make a fire, so it's okay.
So what is the temperature you have there?
It depends how much wood you put in the stove. But it can be really nice, of course, yes. But you have to put a lot of wood in the stove, because it's only the timber, and it's about 6 inch thick. It's nothing inside. No.
And how many times a day do you put the wood into the chimney?
To make it nice.
The whole time, I think.
All time?
No, but in the 1900s, when they live in these houses, they put the wood. It was burning 24 hours, I think, in the time, because it's some when it and the timber is when you have putting fire for 3-4 days, you get the heat into the timber, so it's getting warmer. Yes. Because the timber can accumulate rather much heat.
Heated and not heated building, what is the difference to preserve it to those historic buildings? What is the difference to preserve it better?
How do you mean?
Heated all the time building or not heated building? What is the best?
Yes, I think the best is when.
Try it.
I think the best is when you have not so heat, not so. I mean, 10-15 degrees is very good. I think all the day long. I think that's the best, because when you have buildings that you leave something and then you go away and keep them cold for a long time, it's not so good, because you get very different. And I think it's most important is where the building is, because up in this area we have, as I said before, very dry climate, and that's if you compare with the south of Sweden, it's a big difference. So they have much more problem there, and especially with the insect and fungus and like that. So we have it's better up here, of course. And now we're talking about that. Where you can find the problem with the fungus, it's when you have buildings that you are not living in. I mean, you keep them cold, and the best way to keep it from fungus, that's to have a dry house, because often the water is coming from outside. The roof is leaking, the ground it's pouring down the rain from the roof, because the gutter is very bad. So you got water on the ground, on the soil. So sorry. So you can see here the problem with this house was it was leaking from here. It was a chimney, and it was leaking from the roof behind it, because there were not good. The metal work around the chimney was not so good, because then the water was coming down, and all this was rotten. We had to take away. And in this part you can see up here, and the water have come down, and this is a rotten part. It was not fungus, it was rotten wood, because it was water coming down, but it haven't been any fungus. It was only we called it brown rotten wood, I think. I don't know the English word of it, but usually when you have this kind of problem, we only cut away till we find fresh wood, and then we make a half joint there and put in new timber. And also the same if we have a fungus, so the bad one who can cover a wall, we only take away that's bad, not more, because you don't need that. Because the most important to stop this, that's to keep water away. It can't be any fungus if you don't have water. That's the most important. And we have seen sometimes where we had a big new fungus there, then it had this, I don't know the English, mycelium, it's when it find, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mycelium, no. It have been going to where there is iron. Why? Yeah, it's because iron, when it gets cold, you get yes, yeah. So that's very important that we have seen a lot of times. And sometimes they put big iron under where they build a chimney. And then they put stone and concrete. And there we have seen that it have been going and finding water to grow. So it's a new way, because a lot of people say it needed lime, but we haven't seen that. We haven't much lime in our area. But just iron, it's very important to see that. But usually when we have this rotten timber, we only take away as long as we find fresh wood, and then we put in a new log.
But when you're repairing the houses, so you cut away the rotten parts of the wood or infested with fungus, but are the owners doing something to keep away the moisture for it not to repeat itself?
Yes, we usually we do a lot of work that people can, if they have an old building, they can get money to preserve their houses from the, not the government, what's called, it's either or what's called. It's,
Some funds or funds?
you can search, you can, I don't know the English word.
Grants?
You can get money for preserved buildings. And then you have people that are looking at the work, and they said you have to do this and this and this. So they know how to do it. So it's no problem, I think. When we do this kind of work, and we tell the owner what they should do to keep the water away from the building, of course.
So basically the owner gets the homework to do.
No, and the owner, they are very glad that somebody can do something, so there usually is no problem. But this house was a really big problem with this one. So we had to put a lot of new timber in it.
Where is the distinction between preservation and rebuilding new?
Yes, it's. I think it's how much you take away. I think.
And where is this red line, like percentage or
In Lithuania, it's 40%.
Is it? It's a good question.
40% to take out or to leave?
Change. Yeah.
Mm.
It's money question.
Exactly. I think we have. I think it's not more in Sweden. I think it's less.
money, you mean formal status of.
Finansiškai apsimoka. Ar griauti, ar statyti naują.
Okay.
Čia irgi priklauso, ar ant kiek jisai pamišęs.
And if the building has certain status of, let's say, cultural heritage.
This is from in a World Heritage in Sweden, northern Sweden. This building.
To what degree is this obligation to preserve the structure?
or
replace it with a new one if it is rotten or.
I think in this project, it was in the we call it the church town in Gammelstad. It's a World Heritage. So it's I mean it's about it's about 200 or 300 buildings together here in the church town. So here they could say they could put a lot of money. I think this was, what was it? 800 Swedish thousand crowns. 800. What's it in?
I don't know the conversion.
80,000 euro for this project. So it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but for heritage, I believe it's not the amount of wood you are exchanging. The question is if you're keeping the construction. Technically, you cannot leave the rotten wood inside. So that you could preserve the building, you will have to change it to preserve the rest part. So if you have to change 80%, as Kirmantas noted, it's just a question of how deep your pockets are.
Yeah.
So if you want to pay quite a lot of money just to preserve the construction, but at least what's left of it, you can do that, basically. I don't believe it goes into percentage with heritage.
In this place, you are not allowed to take away the building. You are not allowed to pull it down. So you have to repair it. That's the way it is. And this is another problem I was involving in. Here it was also water leaking in from the roof. This is a corner of the building. And how do you do that? I mean, it would be a very lot of money if you change if you cut this and put in a new corner. It's a lot of work. So then we got permission to do another way, because when it's maybe 3 meter high, it's a lot of work to do it in an original way. So then we did it with you cut this with a chainsaw, and then you made we call it in Swedish tegot. This one is going inside, and that will be. Then you can build a standing wall instead. This is not in the corner, but it's the same principle, you know. Put the timber standing instead. You understand?
So you have done the frame in the corner.
Yes, this. If you're thinking this is the corner, so this is the corner too. But I mean, this we cut it here and cut it there, and then we make the
Vertical.
getting in, and then they meet in the corner, and then we put screws inside in the timber to get it together. It's a very strong connection if you do that, and it's a little bit easier. Because if you change every piece of this, you don't get. If you make a half lap joint there, it's not going to be a good construction. It's better to do it the other way. It's more solid, even if it's not right. It's not original. It's rather good. Question?
And what do you put inside the frame? As you did the frame? And what's inside? Just wooden boards like this? Or something
Inside the house, you think? Oh.
Outside and inside, what's the
Outside it's standing wood panel, yes. And also inside the owner can do what they want. Yes.
But do you have any kind of, I don't know, catalog or study with examples of build-ups of walls, connections, solving similar problems? Are there some accessible database in the sense, or is it only preserved by?
I think you can get it, but I don't have it on this presentation. But
in general?
yes, it is. You can find it, I think, yes. So sometimes you see you have a problem and then you have to solve it in different.
improvisation?
And it depends what regulation is, what of the work you do. If you do it to a private owner, you can do whatever you want. But if it's with the government money, it's a regulation of how you can do it. It depends. Here is it's in the same area as the picture before. It's in this church village in the heritage in Gammelstad in the north part of Sweden. Here we had a big building, and it was really a bad building, and we wanted to take it away, down the whole building, piece for piece, but we were not allowed to do that. So we had to repair it as it was, and it was really bad. But this was a project for 3 years, so we had it's a lot of tourists there, so we had it was like a information project. The tourists can come and ask, how do you do, what do you do, and like that.
So like a live exhibit.
Yes, was it almost like that?
You were the part of the exhibition.
Yes, yeah. So we have to work here and be presentation what we are doing for the people. So because that was the way we got the money to do this project, it was really expensive. So we had to change really much wood. And it's always complicated to put in new logs in the ground, because you have to lift the house, you have to take away all the stone. It was stone ground, and sometime they put concrete here. So we had to take this away, all the concrete and all the stones. And when we are digging in the ground here, we can't dig so deep because it's a culture ground.
Yeah.
You have to have people coming down, the archaeologists, so what is it here? So it's not so easy. So we had a lot of problems.
What are you?
And it was a lot of rotten timber here.
Yeah, but you say you take away all the stonework and concrete work. Do you replace the foundations, or do you just rebuild them back in their place?
No, yeah, we put the stone back, not the concrete. So we put new stones, and the most important stones, it's in every corner. Here, here, and here. That's the most important ever timber building. That's in the corner. Here it's not so important, because the timber here, the ground timber is lying here and going to that point, and then in that point. This was, I think it was 10 meters long. Because if it's bad ground and you put a lot of stone here, and the ground is very bad, especially up in our place where it can be, it can be, what do you call in English? When the ground is frozen 1 meter down, in the spring when the heat is coming, it can put up the stone. So it's not so good to have a lot of stones between these points, but these are always the most important in a log building, in every corner. Because here you have the power going down from the construction. You see here how it is in the inside here? It was really bad. And this wall we had to take down the whole because it was even more worse than this one. This one we had to make a new one. And this we put them down. And up here we had a lot of bad things too. So we had to change these two. And did you know when you have a timber house and nothing keep it together, it's like very difficult to get it straight again. But in the end, it looks like that. And then when you have a new timber here, it's nice to start building it up. Here it's going to be a window too. But I think on this picture you can see how bad it was up here too. So we had to, up here we put a 9 meter long log too. And this was new. Sometimes it had been a door here. But we put a window here. So we put new timber up here and in that direction. This was, it seems good, but the inside was very bad, so we have to change these two. But you see here we have taken away all the bad timber. This, we put them away and made a new timber there.
When you're working on a project like this, what are the main points? Because from what I believe, when you're dismantling the house, do you dismantle all the rotten parts and just then replace them? Or do you replace one by one so that it wouldn't shift that much? Because I believe when it's standing, it gets a lot of tension and parts could shift away.
Yes, when we put new timber, we put the same dimension as it was before. So it looks the same.
Yeah, but do you cut out all the pieces and then put in all the pieces?
No, it depends what you can take away. I mean, you can't take away all the bad pieces because you have to keep the building. I think we start from the ground and put new timber up afterward. No, yes. Because you want to have the, I mean, this is the most important log, I think. So we keep the house not going outside. Because when this is not together, this part can go like that. So it's very important to get that before you get working later on. You can see here, it's very bad, this one.
Do you have some documentation before a job?
Yeah,
Some
the whole
drawings?
time we have documentation.
And who prepares documentation?
It's a special, yeah, that's a special, I don't know the English name for that, but we have a person who do the, before we start working, everything, he measure up everything and
All
go.
the details, what should be changed?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you start work and you notice some new situation,
Yes, every time some new situation is coming up, we call him and he come and look and then we talk, how should we do,
so
how we,
again is fix it in some way.
yeah. So it's a good communication the whole time on a project.
How much time you spend on this project?
As I said, this was a 3-year project, so we only maybe we spent 3-4 weeks every year. But we were 3 persons on this project. But then in the end we put a new roof. Everything was new on the roof too. A new metal on it. And then they put new chimneys inside the bricklayer. So it was a big project.
To what extent is it important to keep certain climate? I see here you just protect it from rainwater, that's it. But it isn't important to warm inner rooms and to dry something?
No, because we had in the beginning it was a metal roof, so we have it as long as we could. Then when we changed it, we put up this
Or
the plastic.
Another question: is it important the season when you do it?
Yeah, so I mean, for us it's the best in the summertime when it's dry.
So again,
Yeah.
It's natural ventilation and natural
Exactly.
warm
Yeah.
temperature.
Because
which is important.
yes, because in our area we have only 3 months summer with 15 to 20 degrees. It's never get so hot in this area of the country.
But you have daylight time longer.
Yes, but it's rather because it's so far away north. It don't get so warm.
You can not go sleep and
We have a good daylight. Yes, you can work 24 hours. It's no problem. It's not that problem, I think. But it's a good season to work when it's dry.
Sorry, did you use dry wood timber?
Yes, we
Naturally dried or in some?
air dried wood here, not in a kiln dry. We have a natural dry. And when you change this, it's not so important that it has to be very dry because it's in the ground. If you put a log here, it's very important.
So what percentage dry? What?
Yeah, I think it's a bit 25% there. That's very good. But it can be 50% in this one. But if you change this one, it's important so it's not more than 20%.
Do you have sometimes situations that from the structural point of view, you would like to keep some heritage, but from the structural point of view, traditional mass timber methods couldn't work? So do you use sometimes some kind of engineered wood as reinforcement for the structure, or is it just very pure old way?
No, we don't. We only use natural wood. Never impregnate. What's it called? Impregnate.
No glue.
No, never. Because it's not good. It's a chemical something inside that wood, so we don't use that. But in the beginning, in this presentation, I show this quality wood, and that's we have very good quality wood, and that's it's so good, so it's better than. You know, the green wood, the impregnated wood. We don't use that because this is better than that. So we are lucky that we have good wood in the north part of Sweden, because in the south, okay, you can find in some places really good wood in the south too, but it's not as good as our wood. This is another project, and now we're talking a little bit of heavy lifting. This is an old mill, a water mill, made in the 1900, and it's 3 stories high, and it's I think it's four stones, grinding stones in this building, and they are in this level. And up here you have to see when you separate it, it's up in the top. So this is a project we have been. Here is the river where the water is coming, and this was in the beginning of the project. We have taken away a lot of rotten wood here because it was really bad. And everything of this construction is laying on timber. It's a timber ground first, and then they have put the stones on the stone wall on the timber, and the timber is lying under the water the whole time. So it's very, it have a name in Swedish, but I don't know the English, the name of that, but it's called rustbed in Swedish. So
what kind of timber do they use? Do they use pine?
Pine timber, always pine in our region. We don't have so much spruce. So here it was, you see the irony, because it was like a box here. Because the water is coming here on this floor here. The water is coming in here, and this was a box too. So the water is coming and making this turbine going around. And the axle go up here and driving the mill. It's very special construction. So it was a box, a round box around this, but it's nothing left on this picture. So it was very special. And the problem was, it was really heavy, this one. It was kind of, I don't know, 20-30 ton laying on this one, up in the whole construction, even more. And we had to change these and these. So how do you do? It's not so easy when you start. How should we do? Because everything is really bad, and you have to be under here and taking this away. So it's, and the water, you see here, the water was all time coming in from the river, because it was here it was sealed. It couldn't come water in here, but the whole time, because the river was it was raining outside and the river went up, more water was coming in, so we had a really big problem with that. And then we had to figure out how should we do to make a new construction of this. So it was not so easy. But then we got away all the timber here, the construction. And this was also taken away, but a little bit later on. For this time we only put some timber under here, and these they can take about 3 tons each of these. So we put a lot of them just for secure when we were working there. So here is standing timber around this. So here is water coming in and making this turbine going around, so it can drive this axle up. So this is fixed. It's only this inside here who is turning around. So that was made in the late 1900s. It's a Swedish construction, I think. So,
did you put the temporary constructions, the metal ones, as you were dismantling the wood, or did you just lift it up?
No, here we haven't lifted up. It's coming in the next picture.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's these who keeping it up. Yeah.
What's the support under the water? Is it still wood, or do you find the solid ground, or do you put base plates?
Now under here it's a timber, but it's like the timber is going under the stone here. Yeah, so it's you can't take away the timber here because then you can ruin the walls. So that was left. We couldn't do anything there. Then we build these with wood, and this is wood too. And then we put this. They can take each one can take 30 ton. The hydraulic jacks. And then from this opening, you see here we have a winch. It's going up here. So then we drove this big beam was coming in here. We put two of these, one here and one there. So we could get it under this because this was iron construct. So it was really good to lift on this one. And you see the connection is, this is a timber. It's really solid, so it was a good way to lift. And this have been modernization, they have put electric motor later on. But this one was in the beginning when it was no electricity in the building.
So you have some kind of engineer on the side who was helping to...
No, we were the engineer.
He was the responsible.
Because we have been working a lot with not really this one, but we have lifting a lot of buildings, so I think we had the knowledge for how we should do. So this was a really good timber. So then we put this under, and we have these logs. And then we were lifting up these, and then we put, it's not on this picture, then we put new timber under here. From this stone ground to this one. Several in the hole, so they couldn't, we had to get the what is it called, the traction out here. Because this was the one who was taking away. We should take away. And these. And they were 6 meters long, I think. And we didn't take away a hole. We made a joint over there. So we had not, we didn't, it was not necessary to change the whole one. So then we put new timber here, and this was new timber. This is only temporary when we are putting these beams under here. So it went out very well. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of how it went out in the end, but it was really good. But it was a big project, and you have to have really good equipment lifting.
How many people to work on the project like this? In the team? Two people.
Yeah, me and my friend. Because as it's a big project, and later on, this is we have doing this for 3-4 years. So we have, because the association who owns this, they don't have so much money. So we have this project, and then they are waiting maybe 1 year, and then we do the next project and the next project. So we have changed a lot of timber in this construction too. Down here in the solid, it was really bad. And then we had later on put new roof on the building. It was in the first building when we had the scaffolding around it. Then was the time when we put new metal roof on it. So it's not really finished yet. So we have to change some logs on this wall. So it's, but this was the most important, so it wouldn't have falling down down here. So, but it went out very well.
So does it work now without electricity?
No, now it's not working with electricity. No, it's cut off. I think the last time they did some milling here was in the 70s, so it's a long time.
What's the purpose of the building right now?
It's like the association homes that they want to have it like a museum, I think,
Okay.
in the end, so they can have people here coming and have a look.
So does that rotate?
But
Isn't that mechanical part rotated by water?
Yes.
It works.
it was, yes, it was. Still, it's not working because everything is taken away, the box and everything, so it can't run with water. But you can see how the function was and understand, because here you come down from a ladder and here we're making new floor, so hopefully sometimes you can have information here of how it worked. It's the purpose they want to have.
So you replace rotten wood with new wood.
Yeah.
What methods of preserving wood to keep it last longer do you use? I mean, burning or
No.
This exciting case of Vasa ship
Yes.
that was soaked into some salt.
No. I think that in that project they have bigger problems in Vasa. No, we don't put anything and we don't burn anything because we are reliable. We are relying and we think we have a good quality of the timber. That's the most important. And the most important is to keep away water every time, because water is the biggest problem of every building.
What about linseed oil? Linseed oil.
No, yes, we use that in special part, but not in the timber. No, nope. Only good quality. And keep it from water. I think that's, I always say that's the most important, because if you have a house standing in a dry place and you have good gutters who take away the waters, it's no problem, and then good grounds to stand. That's the most important of a good house. This is what we are using very often. It's 20 ton and 40 tons lifting bag. They are really good, because when you have an old building who is sinking down, it's very hard to get lifting jacks, hydraulic jacks or something else to get start lifting. But usually you can put this under and lift it up, and then you can start to work with the houses. And you cannot only use them for lifting. Sometimes we have them to push something. So we can have 2 or 3, and then when we want, sometimes we want to move a house, we can put out this, if it's a good solid something in the other way, so that we can push with these, it's really good. And I have a small one, 1 ton. You can sometimes put it between logs to press it up. So it's really useful. But they are not so cheap. They are really expensive, but I think it's one of the most important things to have when you work with houses. Hydraulic jacks, they are really cheap, I think. As some of them you can have horizontally, but some is only vertical. But they are good. Now we are in tools, in the tool part. If you can afford a sawmill, that's very good, because as I said in the beginning, we are often getting our timber by ourselves. So we saw it too, because this mine sawmill, it can saw 10 meter, and it's really good to have. So we saw this is in March time when we saw the timber, and we stuck it here for dry. So if you can afford a sawmill, it's very good, because sometimes you want to have special dimension and you can produce it. Because you can't find this if you go to a store. They don't have this, not in our part, not these dimensions. So you have always material if you have your own saw. This is my toolbox. I think a lot of you maybe recognize the tools. Usually I don't use this, but because I have an electric machine. But sometimes it's good, because if you're only going to drill 1 or 2 holes, you can have that. It's really good. This is an old one. It's 120 years, 50 years old, but it's still really good. And this is a scribble. When you measure, you make marking for get the logs together. Bench job is really good to keep the timber straight when you want to cut the sides, because we always have to cut the sides of the timber so it looks like an old timber. We can't have the saw surface. As you see, you can't have too many axes. It's some of my axes. I'm collecting a little bit, but sometimes I use a special axe to have. If you have an old log wall, the old axe have made a pattern, and I choose the axe to make the same pattern as it when I put in a new log. So it should look the same in the wall. So it's good to have a different kind of axes.
Do you have your own signature pattern?
No, yes, but I try to make a similar pattern, but I think I have my own, yes. Because I have my favorite axe, so it's my sign. I use mostly electric battery chainsaw, and I have 4 of these. This is only 2, but I have 4. Why? Because I have different bars on these. This is a 14-inch and this is a 16-inch, because sometimes you want, and there are different kind of chain on these. There you can have one is 1/4 of the chain. It's like a saw, hand saw wide. It's really good. And sometimes you have to get longer in the construction, then it's good to have the other one.
Is it easy to charge these? Because you mentioned you work in really remote areas in the mountains.
Mm.
And do you have
I have an electric
generator?
Yes. But in that part I use a gasoline, so yes. Because because. But when you have a fast charger, you charge these really fast. I think it's 30 minutes or less, 20 minutes. So it's really good. And it's good to have a lot of batteries. I think I have 6 of these, so I can change them quick. I think I have 12 chainsaws now, because it's good to have many. And this is very good tools too. The log peeler, when you have a log and you want to make a good shape, it's very good to have that, so you can take it down instead of have this one. I mean, this one is good when it's not so much, but it takes too long time. Then it's very good to have this one. And this is the drill I have, and this is a quick changer. This I've made by myself. I cut this old one, cut it off, and I put in I weld a new piece to fit that quick change. So it only you take it out, you don't have to screw in it. It's really good. Because I have a lot of different kind of and this is, you have to have a really big battery because it's eating power. These two are good too. When you made it half joints, it's good to have these to just cut it off the wood. And the chisel. Important to have. And we also work a lot with the stones. We cut the stones, we form the stone with this one. With this one you can make marks when you want to cut it with a stone axe. When you don't use these. So it's very important. This is a 30 millimeter. It's when you want to take away very big stones. But usually I use this 14 millimeters. You have to have some more, but it's very, very, very good when you don't make so big mark in the stone. That's very good tools to have. And I also collect hand planes because when you're repairing all the windows like that, when you want to do all these profiles, it's very good to have these old hand planes. I think I have 150 planes, but you don't get too many of these too.
So what you are planning to do with them when you retire?
I don't know.
You will make
I have some, my friends, they are 30 years old, so I think they can continue the work. I have collect these, because when you work in old places, in old family have lived for 200 years, and when I am there, I can see, oh, you have old plane. Yes, do we want them? Yes, yes. So you can have them. So it's a good when you go around in old places.
I wonder, do you have, they call it lärling, someone you teach?
Yes, I have had that. For 1 year I had a lärling in Swedish, yes. But he started his own company, so I work with him now, yes. And he called me a day and he said, I want to teach timber with you. Can you do that? Yeah, I said that. But how much do you want to have? I don't want to have anything, he said. So he was 1 year with me free, because he wanted to learn the skills. And he was really lucky, because he instead of going to school for 3 years, he learned that in 1 year, everything. So it And he's he's a very skillful young man. This is in my place. So, this is the end. And this was the picture of that house that you saw before. And this is where I was here for 2 weeks ago. So this is the building I'm doing just now. So here maybe you can see new timber. So I'm going up now maybe in 2 weeks to take with me with a snowmobile. We are driving 20 kilometers to get here. So I have timber with me on a special sledge and metal new roof, 100 square meter of roof. So I'm going to work there in April. So we can go up here to May. It's snow here up to May. We can go by snowmobile. And this is the building I'm living in just when I'm there working, not in that one. That's an old house it was the coal were living there. It's a rather good place to stay. And this is it's higher up and the Arctic Circle. It's above the Arctic Circle. So it's about almost 1 meter snow here now. So it's a big difference if you see outside. So that was my presentation. Hopefully you find it interesting or not. You can put up or not. So if you have any more questions, please tell me.
I have a question. I know that Sweden actually wanted to build themselves a wood bank just to have wood on hand, and I know that some museums are actually doing, but not in Sweden, but they're gathering the wood and air drying it so that it could be used later in the projects. Do you work with something similar?
We had a project for 3 years ago, a wood project. We got money to investigate how we could make a wood bank with timber. And the meaning of that was to connect to find a private forest owner, because the big companies, they are very hard to speak with. So we decided to speak with private forest owner who was interesting to collaborate with us and selling timber. And it was really good. I mean, we found 10-15 people who want to sell timber to us, that we could go, as I mentioned before, go into the forest, mark the timber and cut it and take out the timber and pay them more than the big company pay them. So we have had that, and it was really good. So we still have the connection with these owners. But that was in the north part of Sweden, up in our Sweden, not in the whole Sweden. But I mean, because in the north we don't have a dealer where we can call him and order, we want 6 inches wood, 200 meter. We don't have that. You can find it in the south of Sweden, but not in the north of Sweden. So, but now we have some people that we have connection with who can saw the timber as we want. So it's really good. Because when we need a good quality, it's hard to find. And you can't deal with the big forest owner, the big companies in Sweden. It's very hard. So it's going on.
How often do you build a new house in the old way?
it's not so often. We have one member, a friend of mine, he is building new houses, but with an old technique. But it's hard to find the people who want to pay for that. When they have a small build, like a sauna and like that, it's no problem. But to build a bigger house, it would be rather expensive. I know that we have companies in Stockholm area that have done that, but there you can find a little bit other people who have a lot of money, too much money, and they can spend it. So it's,
Do you have experience using other natural materials in order to preserve the building, or additionally isolate, such as ham, clay,
yes,
lime?
we use wood fiber.
Wood fiber.
Yeah, but we have also a company. We have people have building clay houses. Yes, I think that's very big now in Sweden, and they have courses and like that.
But as far as I know, clay is also super great to insulate and additionally preserve the wood.
Yeah.
Is it?
We have also a lot of now who want to build shower rooms with clay, and we have it. They are now looking if you can get the right permission for insurance, like that you can build with clay. I mean, it's if you going to insure the house, is it okay to build a shower with clay or not? Can the insurance cover that? Or so it's a big question now, I think.
The buildings you renovate, all of them. So what part of them are in or will be insured?
Not this part, no.
And if some of them will be insured,
I think
are there some rules from insurance companies,
yes,
or lease or whatever?
I think there is, yes, but usually I don't work so much in houses where people live. No, I mostly work with buildings who are only old buildings standing in the wherever. Not the, but sometimes the insurance they have a water like the water was coming down in the ground, and the insurance company, and they say this company is going to fix that. But the company, they don't have the skills, then they call me. Oh, can you come and change the log? I do that. That's the only part I have in that project. And then the other company takes over it and do the rest.
I'm basically saying that the second risk factor after water is human.
Yes, exactly. It's a very big risk factor.
Not the bigger.
That's the biggest. Or if the company don't do what they should do, and that's always a risk too. Okay, yes.
What are the activities of your association? What do you do together? How often you meet? Why you meet?
Yes, we meet in 2 weeks. We go to have the how do you say årsmöte? Yes, when we're going to choose the new chairman and like that. So we'll see, but we try to at least 2 times a year to gathering and talk about whatever. Because as you saw in the beginning.
Because you are very different craftsmen.
Yes, we have it's very big,
Yes.
big different skills. I mean, this is the area we are working up in the northern part of Sweden, so it's 150,000 square kilometers, so it's a rather big area to get 40 companies together and speak. But sometimes we are going to have this meeting now here in near the border to Finland, in Haparanda, this town, in 2 weeks.
Do you have common projects? Some?
Not yet, but we have looked at that too. It would be great to have a project and work together with different kinds.
What is the main interest to meet each other?
I think it's just to meet and talk about different problems we have and like that.
To meet crazy people, yes?
Yes, and talk. I mean, that's the part, the best part, that's to meet. Because you sit on this internet meeting and a long distance, and you don't, it's not so good, because the most important is to meet. I mean, now I meet you, it's very nice to talk with people, because then you can talk about everything. That's a good part. So, if you are thinking of visiting north part of Sweden, call me. I can show you a lot of buildings. Or if you want to learn some new skills, maybe, you can come and visit me.
Okay, thank you, Kent, for a nice presentation.
Yeah.
Now, everyone, we still have some time, we still have some coffee and snacks. So, whoever wants to, we can have an open-minded talk in the area next to this one. And I'm just gonna stop the recording.